Hello there, and welcome back to Better Than Yesterday. My name is Daniel Hammond, and I'm joined by my good friend Michael Janssen van Rensburg. We're going to talk about a special topic today, patience.
That's the one, man.
Michael, yeah, why don't you tell us there about how you apply patience or in your life, or how you would want to apply it, and what your view on patience is, man?
Thanks, man. Yeah, so good to be on an episode with you, bro. I'm excited to be back. And yeah, I think this is an important topic for young people, bro. I was gonna say young men, because obviously that is something that both Daniel and I are. So that's the perspective that we are talking from. But patience is something that is very important for young people, bro, because at this age, we all have so many goals ahead of us, bro. We want to achieve that dream life. Everyone's got something that they are working towards, but the thing is that really good things take time, man. So what we want to talk about today is the fact that you're going to have to be putting in work for quite a while, and you might not see the results of that work for a long time. But you know what's really good about having faith, and that kind of stuff, is that when you sow a seed, it will eventually grow, and as long as you keep watering it, as long as you keep, making sure it gets enough sunshine, this kind of thing. It's just an analogy, but that's the thing with life. Any goal that you achieve, and we're going to talk about more specific things, but I think that patience is something that it's not an easy trait to have. Everyone obviously knows that it's a good one to have, but it's not easy because when you're putting in work every day and you're not seeing results, it can get frustrating sometimes, man.
Yeah, no, it's true, bro. It's a good trait to have, but
Mm,
it's difficult to apply because it really takes the discipline to tell yourself that I'm gonna work on this now, and even
mm,
though I don't see any results for 1 year or 2 years, I'm still gonna keep putting in the work. So you have to you have to keep doing it without giving up,
yeah,
because once you once you give up, it's all going to be in vain, all the work that you put in,
sure.
and then there's not going to be a result. So I think once you start, you just have to finish and know that once I finish, I'm gonna reach my goal. And
Yeah,
even if it's not totally what I expected, I'm definitely going to reap something. Something good is going to come out of working hard.
yeah,
And so many times we, like you said, with our goals and our visions, where we want to be in the future, it's like we want to be there immediately,
mm,
but you can't be there. So you have to be patient and focus on the now so
yeah,
that you'll be able to get there. Because if you stress so much now about where you want to be, you
mm,
might not even get there
sure, bro.
because you're not putting in the work to get there. So it does take a lot of hard work. It takes perseverance to be patient. You just have to keep going at it until you finally get to the point where you've reached your goal, you've reaped what you have sowed. But yeah, it does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of energy from you to be patient. Sometimes you want to give up. You get so close. Like sometimes I get so close to giving up, but then there's just something that says you've got to keep going. It's gonna be worth it in the end. Maybe
That's true,
it's
bro.
wanting to finish my degree and get a job, start earning more money, being fully independent. But it
Yeah,
takes time. So I think you have to just be grateful for what you have now and the moment you're in, because it's like we've said in previous episodes before, we are now where that little Daniel and Michael wanted to be before.
mm,
We basically there now.
it's true,
Before,
man.
our goal was to finish school,
Yep,
and we actually did it, bro.
we
So
did, bro.
now we're where we wanted to be. So I think we should enjoy that as well.
Yeah,
Enjoy what we've accomplished so far,
sure.
and know that yes, if you just keep putting in the work. Obviously, then with school, there's a structure, and there's each year you've got the small goals,
Yeah.
which basically means, okay, this year I'm going to work so that I can pass grade 1 so that I can go to grade 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pass grade 2 so that I can go to grade 3. And just the system goes on like that. So I think with applying patience, you should install that system in your life after school, because obviously the structure changes. There's no structure. You have to basically design and implement your own structure. So then you can apply what you've learned in school. Take that process or that system and then put it into your life. So maybe it's your first year out of school. Then you say, okay, this year I'm gonna, for like we university students, so I'm gonna complete my first year. That's the goal for the year. So I'm gonna complete my first year of studies, do it successfully, and then so now we're basically on the verge of finishing. I've finished myself, and you're nearly finishing. You've got a couple of weeks left.
Yep.
Then after that, you set the goal of I'm gonna finish my second year. So that's what I'm gonna focus on next year, 2022. And then you have other small goals. Maybe it's getting a more solid part-time work that's gonna be more consistent and not just 1 month or 2 months, but it's gonna be more like for like a longer period, 6 months. Yeah. So it like you set those little goals, but you know you have the bigger picture in mind that you're gonna get your degree one day. You're gonna have a good job. You're gonna be able to buy a car, start a family, buy a house.
Yeah,
but just to make it easier, you set up these small little goals so that you don't become drained or you don't become demotivated because you feel like you're going nowhere. But by setting up these small goals, you do see progress, man.
No, I agree, man. That's the thing. It allows you to, you need to be giving yourself, it's almost like a dog, you know, in that how you train them into doing something is like you give them little treats every now and then. So it's like you've got to give yourself the reward of like looking back and say, okay, cool, this is what I'm doing each day. Like be proud of yourself for that. If you're going into work each day and it just feels like you're going nowhere, like that's doing more than a lot of other people are doing, you know. And if you're studying and it just feels like it's taking forever, you know, you need to give yourself some credit sometimes for putting in that work, you know. And you can't like I think it's something that Daniel and I have struggled with because, and I see it in you, man, like sometimes you're just too hard on yourself, bro. Like you know, like, but it's not an easy thing to do because it's just because you want to be the best version of yourself the whole time. So, you know, it's almost like these small things that you are doing and achieving each day isn't enough to like satisfy that hunger. And it's good, you know, as a young person, you want to be ambitious, you want to be striving for new things each and every single day. But the thing is, you do have to stop and give yourself a bit of credit sometime. Like you say, 3 or 4 years ago, I think the Daniel and Michael that were alive back then would be very proud of who we are right now. And I'm sure a lot of people can say the same for themselves. You know, we've all come a long way and it's been a tough year, the past 2 years, bro. But yeah, so one thing I want to talk about in terms of patience, bro, I think a practical way to apply it is like, is working out, you know, and fitness and that kind of stuff. So obviously that's a big part of life. You want to be healthy, and a big part of being healthy is staying active, exercising, building muscle, losing fat, not being overweight, that kind of thing, man. And with that kind of thing, I think patience is probably the most important thing in conjunction with consistency. So you have to be consistent in what you're doing, Heber. You have to be putting in something each day to become better than you were yesterday. And that's why we called ourselves Better Than Yesterday, because I feel like that's the process for anything, is just taking it one chunk at a time. So yeah, with working out, like for example, this year, I started off the year probably like not too much less in shape than I am right now. But what my goal this year has been is just to cut fat and also to put on muscle. And I have been able to do that. I've stayed at pretty much the same weight, but I've gained muscle definition without putting on any weight, you know, so I've lost like the fat. So that was sort of my goal. And what that's taken has just been like, I've been going for walks lots of times. I've been hitting the gym more regularly this year than I probably have before ever. in terms of the consistency part. I still need to get better at it. Like I said, I'm not anywhere near where I want to be yet, but I'm making progress, and that's something to be proud of. That's what you got to give yourself credit for, like we were saying, man. I know you're into like, athletics and that kind of stuff, bro. So I think patience is something that's very important in sports, bro. Maybe tell me like how you needed that while you were training for athletics and that kind of stuff, because I know you achieved some great success there, bro.
Yeah, so like you said, it does take consistency, and I had to basically show up to practice every single day.
Yep.
And then during the week, I think it was from Monday to Thursday, and then during the weekends I had to go for extra jogs just to keep that fitness up during the weekend. But it did take patience, because you'd go to the first race or the first track meet for the year or for the season, and then you see, I've been training this hard now, but my times are still looking like this. But then when you go to the next athletics meeting, then you see, okay, my times are starting to look a bit better. And then finally, you just get to the peak, and then you see, wow, the consistency and the patience it has pulled off. And I've actually got a good time, a time that I've wanted to reach, and that makes it so much better. But it's not just like you working for that one moment of getting a good time, but behind the scenes you're putting in so much time, so much effort to get there. So it might look easy then, you're working and then you get the good time then, but it took so much time in the background. And that's also what I noticed before. I would be like, how's this person getting these good times? And I feel like I'm putting in so much work. But then I had to go and realize and see that maybe they're doing something extra. So then you have to go doing more and more and more and more. So it's the same with when you look at people and they're successful in their own way.
Yep.
It might look like they woke up successful one day, but they had to put in so much effort before, once when they were younger, to get where they are now. So it's not something that just comes to you easily, but you have to really work hard for it, man.
Big time, bro. Like it's something that they say quite often, is that life is a race, and I think that's kind of true. So I think patience plays a big role in the journey of life. Like you're saying, everyone wants to achieve, for most people, the standard thing is you want to have your own house, you want to have a partner of some sorts, and most people want to have kids at some point. So it's like, cool, you're 18 years old right now. That's a goal that you have long term, but it's not something you're trying to achieve right now. Some people maybe do want to achieve that goal right now, but in that case, I would say there's also some value in having patience, because it's very difficult to support a family and all those kind of things when you are so young. So the value of having patience is that you can spend, you have so much time. Like when you're 18 years old, you have 7 years ahead of you before you're 25. And when you're 25, you're still super young and you still have your whole life ahead of you. So it's like, cool, I have 7 years. Let's take that period where I can now like save up a bunch of money for that kind of goal. Like if that is your goal. If that isn't your goal and you just want to be like career oriented your whole life, then that's perfectly fine as well. But yeah, man. So I would say that you need to segment your life almost into like different sections, And obviously, every day we have is not guaranteed. You might die young, these kind of things, but we have to speak within some sort of reason, So that's why we're saying that you have to plan. You can't plan for the fact that you're going to get hit by a bus tomorrow, Yes, that could happen. But you can't plan for that, So the goal is to plan your life out as if you are going to, be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. So I think how we approach that each day, hey bro, is that we we're doing things right now that we think are going to benefit us in the future. So we're spending time now studying a 3-year degree that will give us the opportunity to have a high-paying job. And once we have that high-paying job, then we can start to afford the things that we need. And also like, for example, with this Better Than Yesterday page, to be honest, it's literally just these kind of conversations were the kind of conversations that Daniel and I were having even before we started this. So it really is just a passion project. But at the same time, it's also something that we're putting work into each day, as we see, because we see it as a platform that really can grow into something, that is not only profitable, but like just can really like make a big difference. And that's sort of more our goal, is that we want to make a difference with what we're doing. So this is what we're doing with Better Than Yesterday, putting in the work now. I mean, on the Instagram grid, we have 122 posts, which has been over the past like 6 months, I think. So, that's like a lot of work each day, like just preparing something. Some of the posts are very basic. It's just a motivational thing, but, I think there's credit in putting in the work each day. So that's what Daniel and I are doing, for example, and in a lot of other people's lives, it's going to look different. I see it with our friends, like we were talking about in the other episode, is that, if you start to work immediately, you then have more income that you can save up. So they have a head start in terms of income. And it's just a different path, So, but the patience is still there. They're going to work each day, working a 9 to 5, so that they can be more independent as they get further on in life, man.
Yeah. So what I just wanted to add there, bro, you've been giving some great facts, man. It's that sometimes to remain patient and to be patient, you have to remind yourself of what you've achieved before and where you are now. So you have to constantly remind yourself that what I'm doing now, it's gonna benefit me later. I might not be seeing results now, but it's gonna come. I just need to keep going. So sometimes when you start to doubt what you're doing and feel like, oh man, I'm just doing this and I'm just wasting time. I'm just doing this for out of nothing. I don't see anything coming of it. You just have to remind yourself to keep going and to you just need to think back of why you started. Because obviously there was a reason why you started.
That's
and then you remind yourself of that reason. Yes, man. And then that just keeps you going. So that's with being patient and just being grateful in your circumstances where you are now.
Sure.
Just need to keep remembering that you're gonna achieve what you want to, but you have to have that aspect of waiting. Like you said, good things come with time. Amen. So like you said, you've got 7 years and you might not know how your future's, or we don't know how our future's going to look.
Yeah.
But 7 years in the line, we don't know where Better Than Yesterday is going to be. It might be something great, but that's only if we keep going and keep working at it. That's the same with your life. If you keep doing one thing consistently, you're gonna get to the point where you see, wow, this is really paid off. Because obviously the experience, the knowledge that you're getting, it builds up and it builds up. So you are growing. It just depends which direction. And obviously we want to grow positively.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Very, very true, bro. Sure.
So that basically concludes it, bro.
Amen. Yeah.
Nice general conversation, bro.
Always, bro. Always good to have a chat with you. I think this is one that's open, because we, Daniel and I, to be honest, are 18. Well, we both turned 19 recently, actually. So I was going to say 18 years old. That's usually what I'm used to saying. But we are 19 years old now. And it's crazy, like how time just it carries on. It waits for no one. So you've got to keep putting in that work. But let us know, like in the comments, like how you guys feel about patience. How you deal with that struggle each day of not having the things you want right now, but knowing that as long as you put in the work, you will get there one day. And I think that was very fruitful, bro.
Yes, and be sure to check out our other videos and our Instagram page. There's some nice daily motivation quotes, or there might be a reel. It just depends. We've got a huge variety. And always remember that when you plan, you should allow it to be flexible, because there's always external factors that come into play. And it's fine if your plans change a bit.
Super good stuff.
That's it from me, bro.
Good stuff, man. Have a great one, man. I'll see you in the next one.
Cheers, bye.